guys? Chad here with Forest Family Homestead. Just split the John Deere, which you guys are going to see here before this video comes out. Split the John Deere and had to fix the hydraulic pump on that, the internal hydraulic pump on that. Got that back together. That's doing good. 3-point still a little shaky, but we'll figure that out. That's nothing I need to split it about. The Massey I got at the auction that you guys seen is split in half now too. I sheared off the carb was having an issue. I put a new needle in the carb and the motor on this thing went 9,000 miles an hour and sheared off all of the bolts from the flywheel to the crankshaft. You guys can see in here, they're all broke off. Yeah, I'm gonna do the seal too because clearly I'm getting oil in here, which not supposed to be in here, obviously, and gunk. So I'll be showing you guys that little process here. It didn't take much to take apart. Just broke this plate off. Not broke it off, but took the bolt out. The bolt's into the head right here. Took all these hoses off. Took all the hoses off that were closest to the side that was easiest to take off from. This hose goes a long ways. These guys unhooked here. Got 3 out. See, we're dimpling it there. I don't know if you can see, the camera's not focusing on it. There's 6 of them. Trying to get you guys set up the best I can. You've seen the position I was in. You'd understand why this isn't the easiest. Just taking a metal bit, tapping them. Oh, I got stuff caught on me. Look at it. Complicated with one hand. Huh? This is complicated with one hand.
Coming out easy.
What's that?
You know?
Yeah. Alright guys, so what we did, being that these Massey 90s, this thin 1/8 inch plate, you can see the bolt holes in it. They're just Allen heads and they mount right here I don't know how well you can see. They mount to the flywheel. And that's what spins your crankshaft from the transmission side. So what had happened is these bolts, these are grade 8 bolts, they broke behind this plate here. So these heads and everything were still sticking through. They were broke inside. You guys watched that. Watch me drill those out and whatnot. There's this spacer on the back side. What I did is I got some new bolts and did some washers as well. And what I did is I tacked the washer to the plate, this big washer, and then I tacked the bolt head to the washer because it looked like some of them had backed out, maybe why they had broken off. So just as an insurance, could have used lock washers, and then we were going to put some blue Loctite on. But I said, well, screw it. If they break again, it's not going to matter if the weld is on there or not, because like these little dinky welds are just holding the washer there. I can break those off easy. And I only tacked it on one side, so I can always just break the washer off. It's not that hard, and then grind the weld off and then put new ones in. But I don't want to do that. So hopefully we don't have to split it again. Did do a new rear crankshaft oil seal. They are discontinued by the manufacturer, and they're discontinued by all the aftermarket places. So you really can't find them based on the numbers that they give. I ended up going through Napa, gave them the measurements. My father measured the thickness and the ID and the OD of it. Exact match. Found it. It was like $85, something like that, for the seal. Obviously the bolts aren't very much. It was pretty much just a waiting game to get the seal. Put the seals in, pack that full of grease, keep that spring in place, and keep it nice and lubed up. It's going to get warmed up anyway because it's going to have oil splashing on it. But the grease is in there anyway. A buddy of mine had told me to do that. So we found top dead center. For the first cylinder, we have the timing marks in the window, which is good. We'll have to do fine adjustments. But right now, we're going to squish the tractor back together, hopefully. And everything's going to go smooth. Fingers crossed. And see where we get. So I'll kind of show you guys what I did here to get it back together. So I have the jack that you guys seen when I first hooked it up, this jack. There's the ratchet strap there. There's the bottle jack for the rear end. And then I have the super long chain, which is not necessary, but I had to do something because it was so long. And I just went, you can see I wrapped, I don't know if you can even see it. Chain's right here, wrapped it around the tire. But I went through the rim here, over to the other rim on the other side, right there, and hooked the ratchet strap to it right down in here, and it pulls, so it'll pull it straight. But at least then I'm using the rear end to pull it. The John Deere, I used my truck because there was nothing to pull to there, and I would have been really short pulling it with the John Deere because that was split in a different spot. This is split closer to the motor side, not the transmission side. So we're gonna see if we can squish it back together. Stick with me and we'll start ratcheting and see what happens. It should go together pretty easy. I'm gonna go on the other side so you guys can actually see it go together. Let's just have to line up the steering shaft up top when we get close. Make sure we don't crush any of our lines.
ain't never seen a tractor split, huh? Well, this is what the nightmare looks like. So as we get closer, I'm gonna run out. I'm gonna readjust. Put it back. Up. From here, you can honestly probably roll it better by hand, since it rolls pretty easy. If I feel any resistance, I can always feel it better that way. Think. If you do this by yourself and you use the wheels, you're gonna have to go back and forth probably. From wheel to wheel, because you're going to end up turning it. Go over a little bit. And I keep kicking my wheel chocks for the front wheels. Keep kicking them in front of the wheels, that way if it decides it wants to roll the other way that I'm pushing it, it doesn't go where I don't want it to. I have to come up a little bit in the front. It's the power steering pump. Out of the way. It's all out of the way. See what happens, guys. Other front wheel. Switch back and forth. Fuel tank's gonna be the only part that wants to be a pain. Alright. Because we can always drop it back down. Alright. Now, we just gotta get lined up. Might be easier to take the starter out, but let's see. When we get there, let's hold this up. What the front down just a tad now that the gas tank is on. Just trying to line the 2 bolts up because there's bolts in. Those are in. Could almost get some bolts started. Nothing's pinched. There it goes. There she goes. I don't know where that's leaking. Now it's started. Get some bolts squared over on this side. I think we're just tweaked just a little bit, but I think we'll be able to draw it together. Stubby bolt. So we'll do that. I can let the front down just a little bit. Close that gap. Let the back down just a touch if we can do. Okay. Guess I might put a new fuel bowl on here too. Because we're dripping. Get out of your guys' light. For the most part now though, you can just draw it together. Short. Not long enough either. It's too short. We got one bolt that we moved out of the way. Take you guys over to the other side. See if we can draw it together up here. I'm gonna tighten them all the way down. I'm just trying to snug them up close. Okay. Oh, I should know where that bolt was. It's right here somewhere. I'm using this open face too, so I don't know if you guys can see. Oh, yeah, you can see. So I can tell if there's, you know, if it gets snug and something's catching. I can feel it better with this than I can with the ratchet. The ratchet, you kind of just want to keep gripping on it. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to if I don't have to. So the problem I was having too is I was getting a lot of oil loss and I couldn't figure out where it was going because it wasn't burning it. And I found it. It was in the clutch housing. But the clutch never got oil all over it. The clutch still grabbed great. But I found myself adding a quart of oil here, a quart of oil there. Well, I looked through my little inspection window here for the timing window, I guess you could call it, for the flywheel, and it looked wet. And this is the first Massey that I've ever owned, for one. And I said, I don't think that's right still, that's got any type of splash in there. Obviously it shouldn't be right because the clutch is in there. So when we pulled it apart, that's where I started finding the oil come out of the crack right there, and it was a lot. So I drained all the oil out of it anyway, so I didn't have to fight it. And lo and behold, that's where all my oil was going. I got most of them in. I got a couple on the bottom. So the other thing is those Allen heads. You might ask, well, it's still not attached to the flywheel, so how do you get them in there? Right there. You have this little bit of room in here. If you pull your starter out, obviously, right there, you get those Allen heads in there and get those all set. Stop leaking. I don't know why that just started leaking. I must just removing the gas tank, whatever. Another thing to fix. So we'll put those Allen heads in there. And I believe those are a grade 10 and they're only 1 inch. Standard. Same thing with the other in there. They were I don't remember, 5/16 I think, by 2 inch. Grade 8 standard thread, standard fine thread. And that will get you all attached there. So once I'm done putting it back together, I'll go through and every time you put an Allen head in, you're gonna have to spin the flywheel attached to the plate. So you're in, I mean, the rear end doesn't matter if it's in time, but the front wheel. And right now I have holes that are lined up, so I don't want to spin it now until I get an Allen head in there, get that tightened, and then I'll spin it and get the other 5. So that'll be tedious, but we'll get them in there. So I'll get these finished, tightened back up, so we get the tractor together, and I know it's not gonna fall apart, and I'll take the jacks out, and then we'll go from there. All right, so there's your flywheel. There's that plate that's gotta line up. And these are the Allen heads that gotta go in there. A little 1 inch, 2/4 inch Allen head. What I've been doing, put 4 in, put them on the end of it like this. Just hold the bolt because you can reach in there. Hold the bolt so you don't drop it. Get it started in the hole. Just get it in with your fingers. Finger tight. That's on it. A flashlight behind the camera, just barely sitting on the ledge, so if it falls, you're gonna lose sight here. Tighten them down, I'll torque them tomorrow. I got this behemoth screwdriver. Stick it up top. Try not to hit the camera. Rotate it around. The easiest way is to get it about right in the center. That gives you the widest portion of this circle here to get the socket in. Some gunk there. Same thing. Put it in, hold it, get that in the hole. I'm twisting almost all the way by hand. Put that in. That's it. So we'll put the starter back in. Put that back in tomorrow. Get the rest of the little odds and ends hooked up. And put the carb back on, clean the carb up and whatnot. Put the carb back on, fire her up and see what she does. At the time, and get it timed and everything. Should be good to go. Got a couple bolts to put on the back here for like these ones. But there's just 2 nuts up here. And then but it's getting late, it's 8 o'clock. So I'm calling it a night. But we'll bring you guys back. Finish putting the tin on and everything. Fire it up. Make sure she runs good. And then we're done with another tractor split.